All right, welcome back. We're week three, second feature match of the night. We got Kevin I here. He's making his fourth feature match appearance in the last four leagues, so he's appeared one in each of them. And Bob's going to be looking at Steve T, who is a league winner, but is winless in four feature matches so far. So he's trying to change that here. Unfortunately, it looks like Kevin's going to take a couple mulligans with what looks to be a at least four color deck here.
Yeah, Steve threw back 6 lands and now has Overgrown Past, a Blighted Burgeoning, as well as a Skittering Survey. Mana will be perfect. We just need to find some action.
Yeah, Kevin's got Plains, Forest, Island. He's got an Angelic Intervention to protect his Izuri Claw of Progress in his hand.
I noticed both players had some pretty powerful cards in their pools, both of which also, in theory, could be wielding a powerful Planeswalker. We got Liliana of the Veil on one side and Archangel Elspeth potentially on the other.
All right. So Kevin's opting here for Invasion of Ixalan to maybe continue to smooth out his draw. He did draw a potential play for turn in Griff Rider, which is a card from, I believe it was Crimson Vow. It's a 2/1 flyer with training, which was a combat based mechanic that
all right,
didn't really catch on. But
as we're searching through our Evolving Wilds, I realize we're playing the full 5 colors over here. So I'm looking through the pool. We've got all kinds of legends, notably 2 copies of Jeru and Hazaret. We've a Glissa, a Clad, a Drana, a Galta, a Laphiel, Kogla. I mean, we got legends galore. So,
all right. So this Izuri is gonna look to if it survives, it looks like it's gonna pair quite well with the Dusk Legion Duelist that Kevin has in hand. Because Izuri can dump counters on the Dusk Legion Duelist every turn.
That's pretty powerful. I think we just saw Brutaclad make it to the bin with the Invasion of Amonkhet. So if for whatever reason that we can Steve flipping that battle over, then Brutaclad can take over a game pretty quickly, whether it's a 4-4 or a 4-4.
Yeah. in every possible incarnation of it having 4 power and 4 toughness, it is still good. Yeah, so Kevin looks to be fighting back from this mulligan to 5 with a nice little draw engine here. And he does have an Angelic Intervention to protect either half of this little combo he's got going.
Doesn't choose to flip the invasion. Maybe looking to, it's going to be 2 turns to flip either way. So maybe next turn flipping it with the Dusk Legion Duelist at 4.
Yeah.
And more Overgrown Pests, more Skittering Surveyors, and now a Traveler's Amulet. Steve's doing lots of stuff.
What about spells that do something other than get...
Can I interest you in Forest? What about Mountain? Do those sound like things that do things? Because that's what we're doing over here. We're playing lands.
To play more things like this.
We're playing lands, my guy. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, so...
Swamp.
Steve definitely, whenever he draws a spell, no matter what it is, he'll basically be able to cast it. So
we did get to wave at Archangel Elspeth as well as Quintorius, the 5-mana Loxodon, as they went to the bottom of our deck from the Overgrown Pest.
Well, he just needs to play half a dozen more Overgrown Pests, and he'll be back
at the top.
Back where he started, yeah. So here comes a Desperate Farmer. Another little nice pickup from Crimson Vow. Just dumping counters on this Dusk Legion Duelist every turn. This is going to be quite a problem here. And he's got the Angelic Intervention in case Steve goes for a multi-creature block here. It's going to work very badly, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, that 2/2 could be literally any 2/2 in the history of Magic, and just triggering his 2 counters per combat now is really all that we need.
He won't draw the second card here because it already received a counter, but he'll still put him in quite a situation. And even if the Dusk Legion Duelist dies, the Desperate Farmer will flip and it will start getting counters.
Boom! The big 12/12. Galta and Mavern hit the board.
There's no permanent answer for the dinosaur, but there's the temporary answer in the form of this Bola Slinger.
Looks like it's going to be all she wrote because all we've got is Skittering Surveyors in hand. And now it could be that we see Kevin go towards the invasion again, but in theory, swinging in for 12 this turn or even 14, 15. I mean, just go face, I would think.
It's 15 damage. He's just, how can he... Well, he's not... I think he could have just gone full out there. Maybe he's afraid of something that's in the graveyard that can get you can get copied by the
Oh,
back of the
true.
invasion.
Sure.
So I haven't, we haven't had a chance to study the graveyards, but maybe there was something in there that he feared.
Verticlad
And
was the most powerful thing. However, that doesn't necessarily mean this get while we're on the back foot over here on Steve's
yeah,
side.
he hit him down to 11, and if the Bulla Slinger gets to survive, then he'll get another chunky attack in next turn. And he's got
So
another
oddly,
removal spell in hand. He's got the invasion of Muriganda, which is that fight spell. So you can get the small creature off the board and tap the large creature. And
there is a scroll shift on our side of the table. So if they were to tap down Galta and Maverick, we can scroll shift after attacks but before blocks.
Okay.
And that should, in theory, allow us to block when we don't need to.
Yeah, so Kevin's got a little bit of an insurance against that. It's not great, but he has a Corrupted Conviction, which is a sack a creature and draw 2. So he's got a little bit of at least a buyout if he gets blown out by the scroll shift. So now Kevin is paying attention to see what's in the graveyard, and I think he might have seen some stuff he didn't care he didn't care for.
I mean, the beauty of all this is Kevin's obviously got a huge board right now. Crazy. Wow, let's the Galta through.
I mean,
maybe not really concerned. I mean, we're still in blocks. Never mind.
He's gonna go for the block. He's gonna gain some life here. The Galta's gonna go away, and he's gonna be able to start building up one of his other creatures.
Oh yeah,
with counters. So,
I mean, literally any old raging goblin is 4 power.
Yeah, as long as the Azuri gets to live. Oh, I guess he. Oh, okay. He's gonna do this mid combat here. Sack the Bola Slinger.
It gets an extra point of toughness, and now.
Not both. Of his creatures. One of his creatures will die, and one will survive. So nice little heads up play there.
Steve's hovering the scroll shift. Looks like they're going to take it on the Galta and Mavrin, so that way no trades happen, and now we've got something on defense.
Yeah, well, I guess he figures that with the Bola Slinger gone, he's not going to die to the to the tapping, so he has no way to tap it.
We picked up the Might Stone and the Weak Stone, or is it the Power Stone and Weak Stone?
The Might Stone and Weak Stone, yeah, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mostly like it because it's 5 mana and it says draw 2 cards on it.
I think this one currently says 5 mana, kill an.
Oh,
we're going to be drawing 2 cards, but whatever. I hear what you're saying about the Cloud Blazer Index.
-5, whatever. Yeah, so he's just going to build up his creatures here. His Dusk Legion Journalist now somehow tussles 1-on-1 with this dinosaur.
And I don't see how you. I mean,
it just received 5 counters here. So,
I don't know what Steve's going to do about this. He's got to draw some kind of kill spell.
What a fun little combo here. So I didn't see any blue cards. Kevin's deck appears to be, green, white, and black. Oh, he has the Azuri. That's his blue card.
There's also a sneaky Atraxa Praetor's Voice, the 4 mana proliferate Atraxa in here. I would assume, right? It's in the pool, and he's playing the 4 colors.
Gotta be. Yeah, so this is
it just pairs so well with what's going on.
This Azuri is a card that, on its own, obviously you need something to support it, but once you have even just one thing to support it, it starts getting really scary. Like in the pre-release, my opponent played Azuri, and I was like, okay, they didn't have much of a board. And then they played Archangel Elspeth, which makes a 1/1 token every turn.
There you go.
So the game kind of spiraled out of control a little from there.
You'll notice everything that Kevin has played, every single card he's played since Azuri has either been combat trick of some kind or something that triggers the Azuri.
Or even the Valid that triggered it twice.
Mm-hmm.
So
it'd be interesting to see if there's any way he could get Azuri back because the engine's officially over now.
Yeah, but now he can actually fight the Galta.
Oh, the Muriganda! I forgot about this.
And he'll draw another card just for the heck of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we see the lack of removal was a bit of an issue there for Steve.
Looking at the pool, I can just kind of glance over and see 3 Realmbreaker's Grasps, which are all in the decks.
Okay.
Hopefully we can. I mean, even you can load up a 15/15, but if it can't attack or block, 15 power doesn't do a whole lot.
Yeah. So Kevin's deck here, it's base black white, and then he's splashing the other colors for a host of powerful legends here.
Oh. Over here, it looks like we are green, white, a little bit of red for a little bit of black for some legends and 2 blue cards: the Invasion of Amonkhet and the Brutaclad we saw.
Right, so we're just seeing a couple players who have just decided they're going for power, power at all costs here.
And if you've got two decks that are doing something similar like this, you kind of usually get to see them play out like that.
Yeah, well, I think it was whoever casts more spells wins sometimes in these kind of situations. So, but we saw Kevin just actually, play just a lot of synergistic cards that work well together, despite the fact that he's playing all these cards of different colors. They actually, they found a common ground on which to really find something powerful to do. And like I said, Steve did not have any removal to combat the engine.
I mean, one thing Steve has going for him is that he's got fixing for days. I mean, he's playing a lot of colors, but his mana base is Skittering Surveyors. We've got the Traveler's Amulet, the Burgeoning. I mean, just lots of ways to get these colors. He just needs to make sure he's got both fixing and gas this next time.
Yeah, so because Kevin is base white-black, his fixing is not on par. He has Flywheel Racer. He has some blue lands, but he's not going to be able to make use of powerful green cards that fix.
Opening hand doesn't look great. We've got 3 forests and an evolving wild, blue, black, a red, and a single. So we'll see how Steve's mana base shapes up this time.
Yeah. So the thing is, when you have decks like this, you're going to mulligan quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
that's the downside. So so Kevin has an island, a plains, a swamp, and he's got a nice card to refill his hand, Shadow Prophecy, which was kind of one of the staple commons from Dominaria United, the instant where you look at the top X, where X is your domain, and you grab 2 of them.
Yeah, plays pretty well. We do have our Volcanic Spite, so a little bit of removal this time, helping out against Dusk Legion Duel.
Yeah, he said, I'm killing that on sight. Get that out of here. I don't even want to see one counter on that.
Of course. We cycle away our blue-black card and instantly draw a blue source.
Oh,
so
no.
naturally how it's going to go.
Yeah, so Kevin had the option of playing a Griff Rider this turn, but I think he's just going to play Shadow Prophecy. He gets to look at the top 3 and take the best 2 out of those. Well, he will lose 2 life, but he'll get to shore up his mana, hopefully, so he'll be able to cast his Botanical Brawler, his Deadly Derision, of which he cannot cast presently.
We're currently sitting on an Invasion of Dominaria as the only shipping a Thalia to the bin. You'll notice we don't have any white mana. Looks like we've got all the other colors so far, but white seems to be elusive.
So Kevin has the choice of Swamp, Plains, and Invasion of Muruganda, which he can't cast. So he said, I don't need another Plains, but I'll take the Swamp because I have a Deadly Derision. And just as soon as he dumped his Plains away, he drew Seal from Existence.
Of course.
1 white. He does have the Plains Cycler in his hand if he chooses, but...
okay, we'll probably see that, I would think.
Looks like he's just going to Deadly Derision this turn, save some damage. That Sprite, it can be a bit of a problem in the late game.
One of the things I really loved about Deadly Derision, we've seen this form kill spell, in every single iteration. This one obviously has fixed with March of the Machines kind of being this big thing where you've got all these 3-color, 4-color bombs. Just adding that treasure for a one-time fix on double colors or your is really good. Of course, we see the basic swamp being drawn from Steve's side. Now he has both the blue and the black for his Invasion of Amonkhet, but it's on the bottom of his library.
Yeah. One thing I will say about this format, at least in the drafting of the set, is that the removal has just become really important. Like, I never see removal. Like, I've been struggling in the drafts, and it's mostly because at the end of the draft, I'm like, oh, I have 2 removals, and I took every
and the thing about it
off.
is, you can get 4 bombs, right, and no spells, and you're not going to do very well because your opponent is just going to have the same amount of bombs. So with high-powered formats where even the commons like Preening Champion are very powerful, you need to prioritize that removal.
Yeah, it's been tough finding removal past like the first 3 picks of like any of the packs. That just dries up, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'll try and draft Unseal the Necropolis or some other recursion spell. Because
speaking of the lack of removal, we don't have any over here, and the 2-drop, this sort of innocuous 2-drop. Put on it. Once that flips over, that's 8 damage every turn. I mean, that's not many turns for Steve to find something.
Yeah, that's a big threat. That card hasn't been like a top performer, but I mean, once you put a counter on it and you flip it, you are talking lots of damage. But
60 card sealed, you got to play kind of what you got to play. And, 2 mana that eventually kind of turns into a threat. I don't hate it if you expect. It's just, I think there's a lot of better 2-drops out there, but obviously not in Kevin's hands. So,
well, speaking of 60 card sealed, I guess we could take a moment here since you're a first-time leaguer, so I mean, obviously been playing Magic for quite some time, but probably have not played 60 cards sealed before.
That's true.
So, what's been your take on it? I've been sitting here playing it since the days of in the store in 2015. So
I was extremely lucky in order to pull a pretty nice pool, and I went 4-1 on my first week, which included a feature match, and I was very lucky. And I thought, you know what, I've got this in the bag. Go ahead and top 8 my first one. It'll be really easy. Let's go do it. I then proceeded to go 2-3 in week 2 and now 1-4 in week 3. And I think one of the things that I haven't really considered is the idea of constantly looking back at your pool and how it evolves so quickly, right? Everybody's pools and decks evolve so quickly over the first couple of weeks that week 1 and week 2, they have some similarities, but not the same as moving into week 2 and week 3. The power level just gets so fast. It gets so powerful so fast. I didn't really consider all that.
Yeah, and the back half of League is going to be even more intense.
I mean, speaking of power, we've got Garuda from Kevin's here. Side.
Garuda
we've also got
up a Shile, the Dean of Radiance, which can tap to put a counter on all your creatures that came in this turn.
And we saw Jeru get milled, Jeru and Hazaret.
Yeah.
Stack here, and then also we picked up a Gauntlet and Mavrin. I mean, there are huge haymaking bombs all over the place. Heliod's going to get us we're going to be able to
I spotted
cast.
a Realmbreaker's Grasp in the graveyard. Yeah, there's Heliod getting a Realmbreaker's Grasp. So lots of all right. So he's just going to flip it here. I haven't really seen this Heliod do a ton of work yet. The backside of it, but it offers it makes a very interesting offer of like what it can do.
Yeah, I had it in one draft in a Knights deck, and it was something that kind of helped put things over the top. But a lot of the times you really don't need it if you're going to end up winning. And unfortunately, getting the Realmbreaker's Grasp, there's only 2 white sources on Steve's side, so we're kind of seeing again the mana getting stretched just a little bit too far in order to actually convert on what we're doing.
Yeah, so I found with the Heliod, like you don't want to flip it early because it kind of incurs all the same risk that we've seen with flipping the creatures early.
Yeah.
But then when you flip it late, like you don't have cards in hand. So it's like...
Exactly. So you need some kind of card draw along with it.
It's like you need a card advantage, and you really want to trigger the enter the battlefield from the front side. It's asking a lot, and it's offering not as much as I think it's asking. So here comes the Gauntlet Mavrin, which Kevin's going to be... Oh, he can actually cycle. He can plane cycle and then cast his Seal from Existence, which...
He's going to need to, because Steve is, depending on this Gauntlet Mavrin, because he's got 2 Realmbreaker's Grasps in his hand. Again, we kind of mentioned only 2 white sources. He had to between the double removal spell or the Dinosaur. Looks like he's trying to get a little bit of value out of the Dinosaur because, whenever any creature attacks while Galt is on the battlefield, you get your choice of some vampires or a Dino to come along with it. Yeah, so matching that overcome.
The ability basically has haste, more or less.
Yeah.
All right, so I believe he is going to have to spend this turn getting this Galt off the board. But in future turns, he does have a little combo here with Atraxa Praetor's Voice with Shile.
Oh, jeez.
So the Atraxa, the Shile puts a counter on every creature that entered, and then Atraxa will double or add an extra one. Right, so there's Galta goes away. I imagine Kevin wants to flip his Ixalan, but we'll see. In the other game, he didn't seem to be that interested in doing that. So we'll see.
Yeah, he's attacking for 10. That puts Steve down to 4. Now he doesn't one run the second one.
Yeah, he's just gonna do the attack like this.
Oh, notably, the flyer does get a 1/1 counter. The Frazzle Cannon, which is an excellent.
Yeah. Actually, it looks like it put it on the other creature too.
Because they're both humans, aren't they?
No, Shale's a bird, but it's a cleric.
They're both clerics.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Shal is a bird from what I can tell there. But definitely a cleric, so well, I guess now we know.
We can use one Realmbreaker's Grasp on one of the blockers, sacrifice one of the 2/2s to attack in and flip over the Invasion Dominaria. I mean, you get a Sarah Angel essentially out of it. But the problem is one of the big targets we want to end up hitting with the Breaker's Grasp is Garuda, right? And so if let's hit the flyer and the Garuda, now let's say, okay, then of course we move over and get a Sarah Angel. All Kevin has to do is flip over the 4/4, and then they're attacking for lethal. But if we're not using the Realmbreaker's Grasp on Garuda's a lethal threat on its own. So
yeah,
I mean, are you double blocking?
He's taking away both blockers here. So Kevin's play for the turn. He has that vision of Miraganda, which can fight something off here.
Ugh.
Which is going to be this angel, and then now he's going to have to chump block.
Looks like Steve's got one draw
with the pest here. So yeah, we've seen powerful legends. I think that's sort of been the theme of these two games for Kevin, is just powerful legends sort of doing their thing here. First game we saw Azuri, and now we're seeing Garuda and the Shile here, which could have potentially been very dangerous. And yeah, see, like, I think sort of what happened with Steve was sort of, we saw him a little bit in both games, right? When you have a ramp deck and you draw all your ramp and all your stuff that finds lands, and maybe only basically really one big scary thing to ramp into, you run into...
Not the end of the world. We did pick up Quintorius Loremaster.
Ooh, okay.
In theory, chumping and sacking at the same time to start...
Well, it doesn't have haste, right?
No, so we if at the end, on the end step, we make a spirit, right? And then we chump with the dinosaur. Then on the next turn, assuming Kevin doesn't draw anything, then you chump and you can sack with the spirit, which allows you to cast the spell that Quintorius just exiles, and in theory, hopefully gain some card advantage. It's very fragile. Literally any kill spell kind of gets rid of that.
So here's an Azuri Claw of Progress. He also has Botanical Brawler, but with only one green source. It would have been a pretty nice combo to cast them both.
Yeah.
But that's not going to work.
It does sound like Steve gets that little bit of a reprieve where he can jump with the dinosaur and kind of start moving things along.
He's just going to go for Brawler because it's going to build up with every counter that gets put on things. So
also gets Trample, right? Trample's huge.
I don't believe anything shares a type with a Demon Kraken, but...
No, not yet.
we're in the process of building that. Well,
he has a Norn's Inquisitor.
He has a Phyrexian Angel in his hand, and I assume Azuri is elf of some kind.
Really attacking here.
Well,
I think I like the attack with the Loremaster because
Quintorius has Vigilance, and if he wants to cast the spell, he has to sack the spirit anyway. So
yeah, but the spirit he could sack after blocking Garuda, right? And so it's kind of gets you that free jump block. But it seems like he's going to go after making another spirit this way. And then also, obviously, the Norn's Inquisitor makes 2 blockers.
Yeah, well, here's a Bola Slinger, which might also change the math here.
I would imagine so. It depends on where Kevin puts it, because Quintorius just exiled Volcanic Spite.
Volcanic Spite, yeah.
Yeah, so if they attempt to if Kevin puts the counter on the Botanical Brawler, which doesn't make a terrible ton of sense because Brawler gets a counter anyway,
exactly.
You can spite the Brawler in response.
All right. So, with Kevin's mana, I'm trying to figure out what he can and can't do. He can play Atraxa, but not his other spells. Yeah, so this will be the only spell.
That's going to make the Brawler huge, right?
The Brawler's going to get 4 counters, right?
Yeah.
Because each of the other creatures
on that
gets
step,
a counter.
right?
Yeah, so each of the other creatures gets a counter, and it gets a counter, so it'll grow by 4.
Then also gets another one because the Frazzle Cannon's going to put one on Garuda, assuming attacks.
He's not attacking here. I mean, he's now at 7, Kevin, so he can't just flagrantly attack every turn.
I mean, like lifelink out of Atraxa feels pretty good.
Yeah, if he gets the chance to use it. So
waiting till the Proliferate trigger hits on the stack, then we're going to end up sacrificing a Spirit to grab the Volcanic Spite, cycling away the forest in our hand. That gives us 2 draws towards some action.
So he has to Volcanic Spite immediately, or else this brawler is going to be a 7/7 trample, which is a little bit out of control for this current state of the game.
A Blossoming Sand's not going to do it.
So, yeah, unfortunately, I mean, he gets that counter on Gerudo, which was already just a must block. So the Proliferate not really going too far.
Ugh, a forest here.
Well,
because if there was a removal spell, let's say a 3rd Realmbreaker's Grasp for Atraxa, that flipping over the Incubate token was going to be 7 total damage. Instead, 2 lands doesn't really help us. So I'm going to tap and sack the Spirit to put out Invasion of Dominaria and hopefully draw something.
Let's see.
A Bushwhack.
Ooh, Bushwhack. That's a nice card, but I don't know if it's going to quite do much of anything here.
I really like the fact that early on it gives you that flexibility of getting a basic land that helps you out in your, and then later on it can definitely ping off something like, imagine that Shile didn't have the Realmbreaker's Grasp on it. We could end up fighting it to kill it in this moment, but
yeah, it's a very nice design. I believe it made its way into Vintage Cube, and people were outraged and thought it was ridiculous.
Outraged in Vintage Cube. There you go.
It's a little, well, just because it wasn't strong enough, but
I don't know. It's 1 mana. It's probably fine. Bola Slinger.
Look, Vintage Cube, people are very particular about what goes in and out of the cube.
So it seems.
All right, so Atraxa's getting a counter here. So unless Steve has something, Atraxa's going to be able to attack cleanly here and then grow.
And I think the biggest part about this is gaining the 5 life, right? Literally a kill spell away or a removal spell and winning the game.
He's thinking of going for one of the battles here, but I don't think the battle wins the game faster than Atraxa just attacking the life total.
Probably not, because Atraxa is like a 2-turn clock. 5 damage this turn, and then 6 damage next turn is pretty much all Kevin needs. Notably, could even move the Frazzle Cannon around.
Yeah, well, he's going to play Desperate Farmer post-combat here, I would imagine. Yeah. So that's why he did not play the Frazzle Cannon. But now Atraxa continues to grow, and it is now lethal. So Steve must
some sort of plummet effect, I guess.
Out of this. He also got to, I believe he got to proliferate on his opponent's battle.
Yeah, make it that much tougher.
The invasion of Dominaria.
Perfect. Got to get every little edge you can. A mountain off the top means that our hand is currently Mountain, Forest, and Bushwhack, and the only spell left in the graveyard is a Blighted Burgeoning. He can Brotherhood's End here, in theory, to wipe the board, and then he can Bushwhack and fight the Atraxa.
Oh. 3 damage to everything, and then I guess
Quintorius and Atraxa fight?
I guess so.
I was wondering why he wasn't flipping the...
But there's still going to be a Gerudo there. I guess he has the token.
Yep, he's got the Incubate token.
Okay.
So we're alive.
Finding a roundabout way of...
No. Oh. Okay, so we're going to flip the Incubate token. We're going to fight the Incubate token with...
Oh, he wants to keep Quintorius alive, I think.
Which makes sense, because on the end step, Quintorius is going to make a 3/2, and we can jump block with that, rather than trying to jump block with the Incubate token. And this way it keeps Quintorius around.
Steve, getting resourceful here.
Hey, alive is alive, right? Alive. Point of damage you need is just 1 life.
Yeah, but a couple turns ago, Kevin was at 7, and now he's at 18, so... The end was maybe within sight for Steve, like with his opponent at 7 and with a Quintorius getting to cast something every turn. Well, he's got an Angelic Intervention now, which if he's if he's not afraid of the 1 card in hand, he can just say protection from red.
Yeah, it looks like that's the game. What a rip. Yeah.
So we just see Angelic Intervention has that mode of, save my creature from removal, have my creature win combat, but also just in late game, I'm just going to tag you for 13 now, and you can't do a thing about it. So
big Kraken Demon with now Angel Wings on it. Doesn't get much better than that.
Powerful legendary creatures here knocking each other back and forth here between Kevin and Steve. And Kevin comes out with the victory, so congratulations to him. And we'll be back later with our 3rd match.